Good evening. We would like to open the planning board of Wednesday, June 14th, 2017 at 7 p.m. Present tonight we have Pam Humphrey, clerk to the board. We have Guy Horn, member. Kevin Sullivan, new member. I'll talk about that in a second. Mark Marziotti, chairman, and Don Johnson, town planner. So we've got some fresh blood on the board, so to speak. And Kevin Sullivan is our newest member. He was a write-in candidate, and we want to congratulate him, and thanks for stepping up.
Yep, thank you.
His dad is a selectman, which doesn't really matter one way or another, but obviously there's politics in the family, so. And Guy Horn, we want to thank him for stepping up into Tom Holt's seat, who was out on medical leave. And that seat had expired, and Guy had run his campaign and won yesterday unanimously as well. So we congratulate him and appreciate his acceptance of another term on the planning board. So thank you very much. We will jump right into the agenda, and first item on the list is approval of minutes, of meeting minutes for May 10th, May 22nd, and May 24th. And did we get, which ones did we get, Don? Did we get all of them? Yeah?
Mr. Chairman, I've read the meeting minutes from May 10th. I was present at that meeting, and they looked good to me. I would like to make a motion that we accept the minutes as submitted.
Okay, we have a motion to accept the May 10th minutes.
I'll second that motion.
We have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous?
To the next one. Mr. Chairman, I also read the minutes for the meeting from May 22nd. This was the one that took place at the Shepherd Hill High School cafeteria before the town meeting. Was present at that meeting, read the minutes. I'd like to make a motion we accept them as submitted.
Okay, we have a motion to accept the May 22nd minutes.
I'll second that motion.
And a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Unanimous?
The May 24th meeting I was not present at.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman.
I was present at that. You were too, right? Now, can we pass that
Yes.
since only two of us are present?
So we can all vote on them, and a guy can even second it as long as he's read them.
I'll make a motion that we accept the moment. I have read the minutes, and I make a motion that we accept the minutes from Wednesday, May 24th, 2017, as they're written.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second of the May 24th minutes. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Great, thank you, board. So, do you have a set to sign, or you want me to take them out of here?
I do have a set to sign, but you want to do that now, or should we wait till the end? Okay.
I'll just take them out of here, and then we'll, so we don't forget, because we'll leave and not sign
I've
them.
got a whole bunch of things to sign.
Okay. All right, next item is item B, an A&R, which is Airport Road and Dudley Hill Road, James and Linda Ruda. Welcome. You don't look like James or Linda Ruda.
Nope. I'm Rick Parra, I'm a land surveyor who surveyed the property. Hey, Mr. Johnson is bringing you copies. I don't know if you have copies in your folder.
Nope. Do you have a sign-in mark on?
What's going on here?
these all the same?
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
Mr. Ruda owns a lot number 2-15, which was approved in 2015. And as part of a combined remaining land, and he's just dividing off one lot, which is on Airport Road, between house number 55 and 59. It's just a little bit over 1 acre, leaving the balance of 7 acres, 7+ acres, with the remaining lot 2-17, which has frontage on Dudley Hill Road.
Okay. So the only change are the boundary lines within the lot 2-17A,
Yes.
and there's still 100-foot of frontage
Still 100 foot of frontage
on both?
of them.
So, Mr. Power, is this where the residence is? Is this lot, is the 2-17A, was this part of 2-15R, or is part of it coming off the residence lot?
No, the lot with the residence number 55 was lot number 3 back in 2015.
Okay,
And that's staying the same. So it's just basically the division of lot 2-15.
Okay. Any questions from the board?
Questions?
and you're looking for 2 waivers? One waiver is the scale from 40, 1 inch equals 40 feet to 1 inch equals 50 feet. And the other is topography at 2-foot contours. But it looks like you got that on here.
But they're on an assumed database. They're assumed database, not NGPT, not the National Geodetic Vertical Data. They're just on an assumed contour.
Okay.
Where did you take your, where did you start? I'm just curious. Where did you start your visual benchmark, your 100-foot contour or whatever?
It was established, I don't know, probably about 20 years ago, when we first started doing some work there, and it's just, I don't know, it was a manhole or something like that, so we just assumed an elevation of 200.
None of it looks even close to wetlands, so. Close to wetlands. So, yeah, just looking for, entertain a motion to accept the waivers, and then if there are no questions or issues, to approve the A&R plan.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the waivers. Waiver 5B for the scale of the plan from 1 inch equals 40 feet to 1 inch equals 50 feet. And also 5E, topography of the land at a contour intervals of 2 feet, basically given with assumed data versus actual data. Okay. And this is for the A&R plan of lots. Location address 57 Airport Road, Dudley, Mass. Owners James P. and Linda C. Ruda. Deed date 1972, 1992, and 2002. Deed book and pages. It's like book 5263.
536.
I can't read that. Is it 536?
Mm.
536, 1124-285,
11234.
Yep.
11234-285, 27561-217, Plan Book and Page 912-94, Dudley Tax Map 227, Parcel 17, 4, and 3.
Okay, we have a motion to approve the A&R lots as aforementioned, and in our second, we don't need to mention all of the A&R lots. We'll we'll know that the second, if the motion is seconded, will be for this exact same A&R plan of lots.
Motion to grant the waivers, or was that motion on the plan?
Waiver.
Both.
The waivers.
The waivers.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the plan of lot waivers for 57 Airport Road for James and Linda Ruda. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous? Okay, now we're entertaining a motion to approve the A&R lot plan itself.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make that motion for the A&R plan of lots. James P. and Linda C. Ruda, 57 Airport Road, Dudley, Mass.
Okay, we have a motion
I'll second that motion.
and a second. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Unanimous? I assume, Don, that you had the submission fee of $200 has been received?
It's paid.
Okay.
Out in the treasurer's office, and that's it.
You what?
Out in the treasurer's office, and the accountant's,
All right,
accountant's
great.
office.
I think we should probably sign these so that we're not buried by, we just need, you just need two, right? Two paper?
I only need two. This one, yeah.
Two paper and a Mylar? So we'll get the two paper. We'll get the papers here.
This is the Mylar?
No.
No.
That's
Oh.
okay.
You have to sign this with Sharpie.
Kevin, should we take a picture of you?
It's all on camera.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Rick.
One more Mylar to sign?
You want this, Rick?
Yes.
The Mylar?
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on in our agenda, we have another A&R plan, Partridge Hill Road in Charlton. A portion of the lot is within Dudley. And this is Robert F. Pera Family Trust. I suspect you know these people, Rick.
Yes, I do.
All right.
And for the record, I am part of the family trust.
Okay. Appreciate you letting us know. All right.
Okay, this land consists approximately of 17 acres, mostly in Charlton, except for 79/100 of an acre, which is in Dudley, which is landlocked in Dudley. And it's been this way for a couple of decades. We're dividing the 17 acres into 2 lots. They're compliant in Charlton, and the piece in Dudley is just going along to the right on lot 1. There's no changes to it, so the tax assessment that was once will be, except sooner or later it's going to have a new owner.
Where exactly is the little parcel on here? Oh, it's right, this little,
And where are the new boundary lines?
Basically, we're just dividing lot 2
Yep.
out of the total 17 acres.
Okay. It looks like the same two, well, not the same two waivers.
Basically, one is the change of scale, one is the contours.
Yeah. Okay. Any questions of the board? No? No? Don, any questions?
It's pretty straightforward, it's just crossing the town line, that's all.
Okay, so I'll entertain a motion to accept the waivers, and then a separate motion for the A&R lot itself.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion that we grant the waivers. First one being 5B, scale of the plan from 1 inch equals 40 feet to 1 inch equals 60 feet. And the second waiver is for 5E, topography of land at contour intervals of 2 feet. We'll just waive the contours altogether for this particular plan because the area of the land is so small in Dudley. This is for the A&R plan of lots off of Baker Pond Road, Robert F. Power Family Trust, deed date May 3rd, 2013, deed book and page 50960, page 389. I think think this is P9?
That's what it looks like.
Parcel 9. There are
Parcel 9,
multiple
okay.
Parcels in there.
Plan book and page 898-35 and 559-26. This is on Dudley tax map number 205, parcel number 23.
Okay, we have a motion to accept the waivers for the A&R plan of lots.
I'll second that.
And we have a second. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Unanimous? Okay, great.
Mr. Chairman, I'd also like to make the motion to approve the A&R plan of lots off of Baker Pond Road for the Robert F. Power Family Trust.
Okay, we have a motion to approve the actual lots on the plan.
Seconded.
We have a second. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Unanimous as well. Okay, so we'll sign two
Sign
paper
two.
copies, this one. And you can get started on that Mylar, Kevin, if you want.
I'm sure you signed.
Yeah. Thanks, Tom.
Over here.
Oh, no,
I was telling them.
no, it's this side. Yeah, so this one we can't use. That's what Don warned us.
For
Okay.
Charlton, one's for Douglas.
It wasn't me, Don.
I signed in the wrong place.
I have to do a double take on mine though.
Did I sign it?
C before D, I guess.
Yeah, right.
Huh? That's right.
More important.
I was right on the second one. Charlton.
We just love it so much.
An official name tag eventually, by the way. It's,
Yeah. I know, I noticed the paper.
Just that top one. Sure. It's just this one here. Want these extras, Don?
Sure.
Okay. Moving on to item D, another A&R, Progress Ave, Fairview Ave, and Men's Zone Drive, Deborah DuPont, Schmidt et al.
Good evening.
Hi, good evening.
Randy Waterman from Waterman Design Associates. We're the surveyors on this project, and the Progress Avenue. Do you have any help? Pass the time now?
Sign, please. Sign.
Yes, also.
over there? Send over?
Another what?
You can send over.
Of this?
Is it private?
Yeah, he can have this one all the time.
So, this property is currently owned by the DuPont family, and we are here on behalf of Deborah DuPont Schmidt. She's one of the 4 current owners of the property. The site contains about 16.6 acres, and it's located in 2 districts. Most of the property is in the R10 district, and there's a little bit of the property up along the north property line coming off of Progress Avenue that you'll see is in the LI 43 district. The site has frontage on 3 different streets. At the top of the page is Progress Avenue, so it has frontage on both sides of Progress Avenue and the very end terminus of Progress Avenue. That's where the right-of-way ends. It also has frontage on Men's Zone Drive over on the right-hand side of the property. And then again, down at the bottom of the property, it has frontage again on Fairview Avenue. So what we are proposing is to subdivide the property into 9 separate building lots. Each of those lots is shown on the plan and contains the more than the minimum required frontage and area, and also meets the lot shape factor, and we've have those calculations for each lot shown on the plan. There's also 1 open space parcel over on the left side of the property that's about 7.5 acres, and that has frontage on Fairview Avenue. So technically, it meets the requirements of size and frontage for a lot, but because it's all wetland, it's called out as an open space parcel and a non-building lot. There's a 40-foot wide sewer easement that passes through the property, and so based on the topography and the layout of the lots, we've determined that there's a good location for a house on each one of these building lots. And so the lots range in size from about 0.3 acres to just under 3 acres in size. So most of them are quite a bit larger than the minimum requirement. We've kept about 102 feet of frontage on every lot, so that we don't like to set them at like 100 point something or 101, just because if something gets messed up in staking of lots, sometimes that affects the building sites. Trying to think what else. The application fee was provided to Don, and we went through an informal meeting with him on May 9th just to go through the plan. I think that's primarily it. He did notice today and tried to catch me on the way here, but unfortunately I did not have my phone on, but Lot 1 is shown on the plan, has 92.10 feet of frontage on Progress Avenue. And there is 1 dimension that was left off of this plan that's about 12 feet. So that lot has about 104 feet of frontage. So if after you review the plan, if you're comfortable in at least voting on the plan, I would ask that you make it conditional that the plan, the originals are left with Don, so that I could have one of my surveyors come back tomorrow and add that dimension in so it's correct. But each of the lots has more than the required 100 feet of frontage, and that's confirmed by the build factor calculations that we ran, so those would not close if they didn't, and each one of those is shown on the sheet that we've given.
So essentially, you would just move the line from between lot 1 and 2? So you have the 100 foot?
All it is the lot, I wouldn't change any lot lines. The dimension was just left off that 1 corner. So if you see on the frontage on lot 1.
Small change in dimension, in direction?
Yeah. So the frontage on lot 1 shows as 92.10 feet.
Right.
And that comes down to that tick mark. And then there's a change in direction of that line. So there's a 12-foot long line there that is part of the frontage of lot 1 that just didn't get labeled.
Oh.
It's a drafting error. It was left off of that section of line. So the lot has 104 feet of frontage, but that 12-foot dimension was left off of this plan. So we wouldn't change any lot lines or areas of the lots or anything else.
So I have one question on lot number 3.
Yes.
What happens if Progress Ave gets extended? I mean, right now you're showing 88.51 feet to the left-hand side of the lot, and then I'm assuming you're using the 60.11 feet, which goes perpendicular across the roadway.
That's correct.
What happens if Progress Ave gets extended?
Well, if it ever does get extended, obviously it would have to be done with the owner's, knowledge and permission, but that could only be done through a definitive subdivision plan. That's the only way you can create new street frontage. So by extending the road, Lot 3 would now get, quite a bit more frontage. It would essentially be creating more legal frontage for Lot 3. So it can't be reduced. If that road gets extended, then it would pick up more frontage on the west side of the street and also still on the end of the street.
Do you know if that sewer easement that's there is currently being used? Is there sewer pipes running through that easement?
Yes.
Same with the other sewer easement that runs through Lot 2 and 9, is that being used?
Yes, correct. The sewer that comes down Ellis Avenue then runs through that connection and then comes down past Progress and then back out to Fairview. We have located most of the manholes. There were a couple that were missing, and we spoke to the town, and they had somebody come out and meet with our surveyors, but they couldn't find one or two of the manholes yet, so we have most of them, but not all of them just yet. But it is an active sewer line.
Couple things that you sold of it too, a couple things about frontage here. Legal frontage for the lots 4 and 5, you can see it's on Fairview Avenue. What we're proposing to access from Men's Own Drive. I think the way that I'll get the definition right now, I think the way that our zoning bylaw reads, it's up to some interpretation by the building inspector as to which one would be able to be built off.
What Don is referring to is the, out on Fairview Avenue, lots 4 and 5 both have more than the minimum required legal frontage, so that's the legal frontage for those building lots. But what we tried to do is up on Men's Own Drive is we left a little stub of the lot going to Lot 4, and the stub of Lot 5 touches the end of Men's Own Drive. And the idea is that these lots all slope down to Fairview, and they're fairly steep at Fairview. So we wanted to give the buyer an opportunity to have their driveway come off of the Menzo Drive axis, just because it's level, it's more attractive and easier construction. And that way we've minimized curb cuts out on Fairview Avenue. But the, I think what Don's talking about, we've talked about this on the phone a couple times, just trying to figure out the subdivision regulations don't speak very much to access, but the zoning bylaw does, and the zoning bylaw has, on page 59, has a couple different definitions of frontage, and one of those is frontage, and it says the boundary of a parcel abutting a way as approved by the planning board and from which access must be made. So in our interpretation, we were trying to make that frontage on Men's Own Ave. It's not the legal required 100 feet of frontage, it's just frontage on a way, and that we want to be the access to both of those lots, and that's why we wrote the word access up there on the lot. And then down at the bottom of that same page, it says lot frontage. It's defined again. The first one just says frontage, the next one says lot frontage, and that definition says it's a continuous lot boundary line which abuts, and it describes the three street options that are legal frontage under the subdivision control law. So the legal frontage, the lot frontage at the lower definition, that is what we are providing on Fairview, and it was our thought that this was a creative way to provide access to the more buildable portion of the lot and still meet the code. But we've talked, Don and I have talked about it a couple times about how this fits, and will the building inspector see it the same way when we go for building permit? And we certainly have the ability to drive in off of lot 4 and 5 off of Fairview, so we think we still meet the letter of the law, but we would hope that he will allow this to be the frontage or the access off of Men's Own. I don't know if you concur with that description, Don, or not, or?
It's the building inspector's call at the time of building permit, that's,
Yes.
it's true. We do have legal frontage for subdivision purposes.
Yeah, so it's, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Would there be access on Fairview Ave? Would you have a driveway, or would it be just?
Not under this plan. Ideally, we'd like to have the access come off of Men's Zone to those two lots, so none of the lots right now would need a driveway out into Fairview, so we'd have no curb cuts out there. Unless the building department requires us to do that, and at most, there would be two.
Are these, is lot 4 and 5 anywhere near the bridge on Fairview Ave?
There's the river crossing is further down, I believe, that's what,
The second page, isn't it?
what's that?
It shows better on the second page.
Yes, on the topo plan, you can see the, sort of the left half there of Fairview Avenue, there's a retaining wall, and that's where the stream comes down and crosses under the street.
Okay, this is in front. Oh, this other one. Okay, so, yeah, you can't go this way. It's a 25-foot height difference in that much space.
So wouldn't it behoove you to check in with the building inspector prior to having this approved, so that if for some reason there was an issue, it could be addressed now, rather than, I
Well,
mean, I understand your reason, your rationale behind wanting that space, but, I mean, and legally it's fine. However, if he doesn't allow that to be the access point to the house, it kind of changes the dynamics of that lot, I would
well,
imagine.
no, what I think we've tried to do is set it up so it works either way. So we have legal street frontage on Fairview, and we could bring driveways in there if we had to, it's just more costly. So we're hoping that he will accept this layout, because we believe that this meets the letter of the zoning bylaw.
Okay.
And if he says, no, I don't want you having access off of Mezzone, if he restricts that for the building permit, then we would just have the driveways come off and have to build more expensive driveways off of Fairview. But
Okay.
it works either way, and I believe it does meet the definitions as they're contained in the zoning bylaw.
Okay.
Status of Men's Zone Drive, I've checked into that quite a bit, the best I could find is that planning board, was it created in 1959? The planning board started meeting in 1960. The house was approved in Men's Zone Drive in 1961, and one was approved in 1962. Donald Lane, which was also private. House was approved in 1966. Built, I should say.
Mhm.
That's from the assessor's records. Men's Zone Drive is a private road, but it's plowed by the DPW. Sorry, the highway department, I'm sorry.
Why?
I don't know. That's the status of it. I think there's a plan from 1918 that shows a 20-foot right-of-way going from, well, probably from West Main Street all the way through to up into here. It's a plan from 1966 that shows Men's Zone Drive, the 12-foot right-of-way. And the plan from 1918, 1908, whatever that may be. This is the plan from 1966. This is what it looks like today.
You got the encyclopedia out, how about Don?
The 1966 plan that you have in front of you, that one actually, as you can see on this plan, was signed as an approval not required plan creating building lots. So it has been used as legal frontage for building lots since 1966, and
61, apparently.
yeah, even 61, yes. Yep. And the layout was much earlier than that, so,
There's nothing in the minutes about the street either, the subdivision or anything else. So I presume it's there.
yeah, it's really odd because it shows the 12-foot right-of-way dashed, but then there's the dimension to the solid line on here, and it shows a 40-foot dimension. So,
It's a little strange, but it's pretty clear. The board all signed that back in 1966 as legal frontage for approval not required lot. So it has been used as legal frontage for more than 50 years.
Okay.
It's not maintained by the town, but it's plowed by the public, highway department.
Interesting. Okay, any questions by the board?
Don, where in our zoning book is the
Page 59, I think.
It's been earlier printing, so it's section
It's under definitions.
6.
section 6. Definitions, 91.
Under F, then frontage, so there's one at the top of the page, frontage, and then down at the bottom, they have lot frontage and also lot frontage. Lot front and lot front.
That definition was changed 11/7/05. I remember when we did this, I'm trying to remember the stipulation that was with it. I believe that we had a very similar situation off of Cordis Road in Dudley, where there was multiple lots subdivided out. And there was one lot that had access off of one road, and then they were trying to use a smaller way as a driveway. Do you remember this?
It rings a bell,
It was
but
over by Mr. Blanchett's house.
yeah.
So the issue was, I think what the issue was is that a lot over there was approved by the planning board as a interior lot, basically 5 acres or more, 50-foot of frontage on the road. And then later, they came back and tried to subdivide that lot. So that's why we had changed that definition to say that the boundary of a parcel abutting away as approved by the planning board and from which access must be made. So what we're saying is, wherever your frontage is where you have to create your access. Even though you're trying to create access off the back of this, neither one of these accesses is on Men's Zone Drive, which from looking at the topography is obviously your easiest way to get to those lots. But neither one of them have enough frontage on Men's Zone Drive.
Well, again, if you read the definition of frontage that you just quoted, the boundary of a parcel abutting a way is approved by the planning board.
Which access must be made.
Okay, right.
Which
So
mean-
Men's Zone is a plan that, you have a plan in front of you that's been signed by the planning board for Men's Zone Drive.
Right, but you don't have enough frontage on Men's Zone
But the
Drive. for
frontage
either
has
But
to
where
be-
does it say in that definition that you need, it
Under the
doesn't say?
subdivision control law, the frontage has to be what's required by the zoning district.
Right.
And you
access
have
for
that
building
on 4 and
purposes.
5.
That's right, we do.
So lots 4 and 5 have the legal frontage, but I'm just saying in the definition of frontage that you're quoting, there is no dimension listed there or no minimum requirement for how much frontage you would need. It just says the boundary is of a parcel abutting a way approved by the planning board from which access. So that's what we're providing in this. We're saying this parcel has its boundary is on men's own, and we would provide access at that point.
Subdivision control law, though.
Under the subdivision control law, these lots both have the legal frontage on a public street and the right area. Let me just, if you jump down to the bottom also, there's one that's defined lot front, not frontage, but just lot front. Did you read that one as well? Because there's sort of three different definitions, which is a little strange, but lot front says, on any lot bounded on more than one side by a street, as in this case, the street boundary that is to be the lot front shall so be designated in any application for permit to build on such lot. So then, again, it doesn't say you need a minimum of X number of feet. It just says you need to designate which piece of frontage on a lot that has two pieces of frontage, which portion of the lot is your access. So we've done that in both cases.
So this access would be for both parcel Lot 4 and Lot 5?
Well, each one would have their own single driveway, just a 12-foot wide driveway to the house.
So
Just
I think you're providing adequate access, but my problem with it is that I think your frontage is what I would consider illusionary on Fairview Ave. I mean, it's technically there, but could you access those lots from that? I mean, you're talking about a grade change of 25 feet elevation, and you gotta go through a 100-foot buffer zone for a wetland.
Right. Right. And that's why we didn't want to go through that way. It's certainly doable. It would be much more expensive. I mean, we also, I mean, realistically, if you're going to do it down there, you would just build one common driveway to access both. So you'd probably start on Lot 4 and go back across the slope and then up. So you wouldn't try and build two driveways. But you certainly have quite enough. You've got almost 300 feet of frontage there along the street that you could bring your driveway in and run along back up the slope and get back up into the hill.
Unfortunately, the zoning bylaw doesn't really reference anything about common driveways, so. Along the lot line possibly, but
Don, as a professional town planner, what's your opinion on Lot 4 and 5?
I don't have any problem with accessing from in-zone drive, but I don't think a bylaw and the subdivision control law together allow it, unfortunately. I mean, I can see where the topography and everything is more favorable, but maybe it's a matter of working this out with the building inspector and zoning interpretation and see if there's something that can be done. Clearly, they are permissible under subdivision control law, because they have the required frontage for the zoning district. May not comply with zoning.
I mean, the lots clearly have frontage and area.
You do comply with zoning in that respect, but for the definition of access, they may not. I'm not.
And that's fine, and that's the building inspector's call. I mean, I'm perfectly happy if you decide to vote on the plan and favor the plan and make, have a condition that we, go see the building department, and the building department can decide if access is allowed. I'm comfortable with that. I mean, we don't, if he's not gonna allow access from those points, it has to come off of their frontage. But the way we read those three pieces of frontage as defined in the zoning, I don't see anything that prohibits this.
The open space parcel, the 7.75 acres, what was your plans with that?
What their plan is right now is that would go with one of the Lot 3 or Lot 4. It has legal frontage out on Fairview, but again, it's almost all wetland. So that lot boundary to the open space parcel generally follows close to the wetland boundary.
Yep.
So the plan is that would go to Lot 3 or 4, or if there was a town agency that had other open space nearby that was interested, I think they would be more than happy to talk to them about taking it.
Because my thought was, when you were laying this out, why wouldn't you have utilized that open space and instead of creating lot 4 and 5 as you had, you could have created probably 2 interior lots with 50-foot accesses off of Men's Zone Drive, and you would have been covered.
Yeah, I mean, we could have done that, but we, I mean, it just seemed like, if you look at the next sheet, that we used basically all of the upland area, and we were trying to separate off the wetland area in the event that a conservation group or somebody was more interested in the piece. That way they could walk, they could come in from Fairview Avenue and get back to the little bit of upland or join it to another piece. But, rather than just, throwing it all into the package, we were trying to leave some open space.
Or if they just eliminated lot 6, then they'd have plenty of frontage on lot 4 and lot 5.
Correct. Well, they wouldn't have to do interior lots,
Right.
Are you in agreement that lots 4 and 5 have the required minimum legal frontage and area?
I am. I don't believe it, I don't feel it's optimal, but that's not my decision.
Yeah, I mean, it's the point of it is do you have adequate access? And would I say you have adequate access from Men's Zone Drive? Yes, but again, going back to what I just read in that, book, it says you have to access your lot across your frontage, so that means you have to access it from Fairview Ave. I definitely believe 100% it's a lot easier and a lot better for anybody who owns those 2 lots to access it from Men's Zone Drive, but our bylaw says you have to access it across your frontage.
Not your legal frontage.
Yes, it does.
Show me where it says that. It does not say
It
that.
says your frontage.
Right, and frontage is defined 2 different ways in the bylaw. Lot frontage is the part that has to abut a public way or a way that's been maintained by the town. That's the bottom one, lot frontage. The definition that you're reading on the top says frontage. That's the boundary of a parcel that touches a way that's used for access. That's exactly what we have here. This is the boundary of the parcel that touches a way. And that's why I refer you down to lot front. The definition at the bottom, lot front, on any lot bounded by more than one side on a street. That's these 2 lots. They're bounded by more than one street.
No,
It says the street boundary that is to be the lot front, so it's saying you have either side can be the front.
no,
It doesn't say there that it has to be the,
It can't be the front, because your front has to have legal frontage, and your access
where
don't
does it
have-
say that?
Your access don't have legal frontage. Our bylaw says you have to access your property across your frontage.
Where does it say that? These are the 3 definitions for frontage.
The boundary of a parcel abutting a way as approved by the planning board and from which access must be made, that's frontage.
Right, and how much frontage does that require? Does it say there?
The frontage in this zone is 100 feet.
Right, the lot frontage.
Right.
Right, this says just frontage. I have frontage on 2 streets on this lot.
It's semantics, sir.
What's that?
It's semantics.
It's the mandate?
It's semantics. You can interpret it any way you want to. It's what the building inspector, he's the zoning official.
It is what the building inspector says. We believe the lot still meets. That's why we wanted to leave it this way. This lot still has legal area and frontage. And if he says we need to come through Fairview, then we will come through Fairview. You're really not comfortable signing the plan? You just think you're just not comfortable that this meets?
Everything else is fine with the exception of lot 4 and 5. I would have just laid them out differently.
When is your next planning board meeting?
2 weeks.
2 weeks from tonight?
But that's over the 21 days.
That's 21 days.
Over the 21 days. This was logged in
The 7th.
Tuesday or Tuesday.
The 7th. So 21 days would be the 28th. Today's the 14th would be the 28th.
Yes, but
I guess what I'm thinking at, if you're that uncomfortable, we're certainly not trying to, force you to sign something that you're not comfortable. If we continued this meeting to the 28th, 2 weeks from today, the application was filed on the 7th, so that would be the 21st day. If we could meet with the building inspector and get some direction, and at worst case, if he says you absolutely can't do this, then we'll just take those 2 little stubs off of there, and there's our legal frontage out on Fairview. And if he says, yes, you can do, this is fine, you'd be comfortable with the plan. If he says it's fine. So either way, we could address it before the next meeting, and that way we wouldn't have to withdraw the plan or do a new application or filing fee or anything. Is that?
You could withdraw it without prejudice and bring it back at the next meeting if the planning, if the
When do you
building.
withdraw it without prejudice? Because the 21st day, the day that if anything goes wrong, it has to be filed in the town clerk's office, not the 22nd day.
One little hiccup and,
That's what I suggest.
I'd be comfortable with that if you'd feel more comfortable we're not trying to get around the regs, we just believe when we read that frontage, it does not give a dimension, it does not say it's the legal frontage for the lot, it just says frontage. This lot has frontage in 2 locations. The definition of lot front says you can have 2 locations of frontage on a lot, and you just have to pick which one is access, which we did. So we believe this meets the letter of the law, but if you're not comfortable, I don't think there's that much of an urgency to get this done. I'm hoping there's not on our client's part, but I'll talk to them tomorrow. But I will withdraw if you're more comfortable with that, as long as we can use the same filing fee and application and not have to start over. Otherwise, I'd rather try and leave it here but are you?
Put that in writing.
Okay, yep.
And you can also correct the numbers
Yep.
on lot number 1.
Yep, obviously, yep.
All right.
Yeah, and our goal is obviously to protect you and allow you to have you do this once. It doesn't matter to us how you lay your lots out, but
Yeah.
we're just trying to provide some advice, that's all.
I hear you. I know we talked about it. It was a little bit strange, and we knew it wasn't
Yeah.
typical, but it's a unique lot, obviously. So,
Yeah.
all right, then I guess I would request the board to allow us to withdraw our application without prejudice, and the intention would be to bring the plan and the application back prior to your next meeting and be on the agenda for the 28th of June.
And if we can get a letter from,
Yep.
from the building inspector, that's
Yep.
great.
Okay. All right, we'll give him a shout tomorrow and see if we can go sit with him and walk him through it and see what he's comfortable with. What's that?
His office hours on Thursdays from 5 to 7.
5?
Building inspector's office hours on Thursdays from 5 to 7.
Okay, all right. Okay,
So he'll be here tomorrow night.
okay,
Yeah.
that's fine. Yep, you want me to just fill?
They're gonna get his own way. Inspector thinks that it's a different way.
Maybe we just check out.
Yep.
Agree with that, but
It's like blending. It's like, I think that's the perspective. He's the building inspector.
Should have done.
Yeah. Because he could have did it. He could have did it differently, but it would have got more lot less.
Thank you, sir, for your understanding.
All right, no, thank you, appreciate it, appreciate the input.
Okay.
That's you.
And so, Don, just to summarize, your expectations are that you would receive something, sorry, is it Mr. Waterman?
Yes.
Okay. You would receive something from Mr. Waterman. You want something in writing? Is that what you had requested?
Just right now that we get something in writing, that he's requesting to withdraw the plan.
Just
No
an
prejudice.
email would be okay.
Yeah?
Yeah, no, I think he's looking just for something in immediate, give you writing tonight.
I'd rather have it tonight.
In-
Oh, okay.
I'll go see the building inspector.
Correct.
See what he-
Yep.
Yep.
So you'll send that to, okay,
Yep,
perfect.
right there, clearly.
Thank you very much.
So vote,
Huh?
vote.
Vote.
Vote to allow him to withdraw without prejudice.
We have to vote on that?
Okay. Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion that we allow the applicant, Mr. Waterman, to withdraw the A&R plan. That
That would be Mr. Waterman on behalf of the applicant.
Yeah,
Mr. Waterman, on the behalf of the applicant,
Deborah
Um,
DuPont.
the A&R plan that involves Progress Ave, Fairview Ave, and Men's Zone Drive.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, we have a motion to withdraw the A&R plan for Progress Ave without prejudice for Deborah DuPont Schmidt. And we have a second. All of those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to item E, request of Tony Sequeira to establish a performance guarantee in order to release lots within Pierpont Estates.
You have an estimate in your book from Ways Engineering. The draft, the reason it's a draft is because there's a little bit more work to do up to get up to that amount. The binder coat of paving, and also a little more grading of the gravel before the pavement goes down. So once Tony does that, that number will be adequate according to Jeff Walsh.
Okay. And this is this is put together so that what we could identify what a new surety would be?
Right.
And this
Also, I
is for
think
phase 1 and 2.
phase, depending who you talk to, it's either 2B or 3, but
Well, 3 is the one that we voted last meeting.
we just voted to extend the covenant last meeting.
We did that, but we also signed a document for a bank who was only willing to offer surety on phases 1 and 2.
They didn't want anything to do with phase 3. That's
Correct.
right. They didn't want to bond.
So
phase
this
3.
here is in reference to phase 1 and 2, correct?
Phase 3.
Oh, this is for phase 3. Okay. Here's the man.
You know the lot numbers offhand? Also, I've been in contact with this bank, and they're willing to, they'd like to issue a letter of credit of $120,000 to the town of Dudley. So I'll have to check that out with the treasurer and the town council to make sure that the format is okay.
Yeah, well, what is our subdivision regulations identify? I guess not the new one, because he's grandfathered in on the old one, right?
Well, let's put it this way. I know a few town councils, one I worked with for a long time, who approved any number of letters of credit. Worked with another council who has over 100 clients in the state, towns. They don't think letters of credit are allowed, but it's subject to opinion. 'Cause some say yes, some say no. So I suggest that we get our town council and town treasurer to look at it and see what they think.
Okay,
I don't have any problem with accepting it if it's proper.
all right. That's Connecticut, Don.
Oh, no, it's KP law.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
So Mr. Waterman had drafted a letter, which we appreciate doing so quickly. On behalf of our applicant, Deborah DuPont Schmidt, I hereby request the Dudley Planning Board to allow us to withdraw our A&R plan for Progress Ave, dated 5/30/17, sheets 1 through 3, without prejudice, and reply prior to the next hearing. Thank you. Yeah, that'll work. Thank you very much.
We will talk to Bill Inspector and get back to you. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
So, Mr. Chairman, could I ask a question?
Sure.
Through the chair. Mr. Sequeira, I believe previously on, I don't remember if it was phase 1 or phase 2 of the subdivision, part of it was secured, or maybe all of it was secured with what they had, with what, at the time, I can remember when town council was here, they called a tri-party agreement.
Yes.
And that was basically an agreement between yourself, the bank, and the town of Dudley. And so, are you changing the surety in a way that it's not gonna be a tri-party agreement for the next phase, or?
Okay, the original tri-party agreement stays in place. This is the new, uh, this is the new road that I'm doing right now.
New phase, phase 3.
Which the bank that I used before is not involved with it.
Okay,
So now I'm working with another bank, Hometown Bank, and they preferred a letter of credit versus to a tri-party agreement. I don't know. I don't know what's the difference between one and the other.
One thing about a letter of credit, it's just, I mean, it certainly can do it, I don't have any problem with it if town council doesn't have any problem, but they expire.
Yeah.
You have to be sure that before they expire, you have to make a determination, or you can get an extension if the bank agrees to it. But before they expire, you have to make a claim. That's the only problem with letter of credit, but if you keep track of
Yeah.
it, it's no problem.
Yeah, but again, so the way I understand a letter of credit, again, and I understand it that way, is that if for some reason, you know, so we get the letter of credit today based on Mr. Sequeira's credit, but if he decides to get into phase 4 and takes out a loan or whatever it might be, I would imagine that that letter of credit changes.
Has to be increased, sure, absolutely.
Well, not only increase, but the ability for Mr. Sequeira to still have that credit is, if his net worth doesn't change and he's just looking for additional, revenues from the bank, then obviously if he's got that out there that said it's worth $120,000, that number is going to change as he applies for certain.
Right, but you'd have to acknowledge that change, the planning board would have to acknowledge that change too. They'd have to rewrite the letter of credit.
I just wonder how we're notified, I guess is really the question, but.
The amount is going to be reduced, let's say, before I close on these houses, which will be probably right now November. Everything should be done because there is enough funds to do the work. So if there's anything left to do, it will be maybe the final coat, which is about $20,000 by end of November.
so tonight, Mr. Sequeira, you're looking for lot releases tonight, or you're just trying to describe what your proposal is for the performance guarantee?
What I'm looking tonight, I mean, if I could get the lots release was nice, but is to see if the planning board is okay with the letter of credit. I think that's the conversation that Ms. Johnson had with the bank's attorney.
Yeah, my recommendation would be that we, that we seek advice from town council to see if it's something that we would accept as surety for a subdivision.
My suggestion to the bank is that they provide a sample copy or a draft copy of the letter of credit they're proposing to give us. We'll review it with town council and with the town treasurer, and if it's acceptable, then we can make the arrangements to post it, treasurer, and notify the bank and notify, there's lots of released.
Have you talked to town council about this yet?
I forwarded an email to him,
Okay.
that email you have in front of you, I forwarded it to him, but I haven't really talked to him about it yet.
And is he looking for a sample, or that was just your recommendation? Or your thought that
I'm sure
he
will.
might look for?
Sample or
Okay.
a proposal,
Okay.
proposed, the adequate wording and legality, what have you.
All right, so really the next steps here are that, we would need some sort of sample of what the letter of credit would be. Can you get that from Hometown Bank?
Yes.
Okay. As
I
soon
don't
as
have it
you-
today, they working on, because I just got this yesterday
Okay,
from Jeff.
okay.
I suggest there's a few things you can do, we have to do. We have to get the certification from Jeff that the work up to the binder course of pavement is complete and in order. And we have to get consent from town council and from the town treasurer to make sure that the letter of credit is adequate or in proper form. And then at that point, you can send a release and you can build on his building lots. Those two things have to take place first, though.
Through the chair, could I ask, the building lots that you're looking to get released, are these lots still in phase 2, or are they gonna be moving on into phase 3?
Can you repeat the question again?
The building lots that you're looking to get released, are they in the Phase 2, or are they in Phase 3, which a portion of the roadway hasn't been built yet?
Is the portion of the road that I'm working on right now, which Jeff calls Phase 2B.
2B, okay,
Yeah.
It's either 2B or 3, depending who you
Or
talk to.
3, yeah.
okay. So it's beyond what you had already had paved?
That's right.
Okay,
And the other bank, not Hometown Bank, the other bank only is covering Phase 1 and Phase 2, not
That's right.
2B, correct?
That's right.
Okay.
It's Hill
So that is
Financial that's
3,
covering Phase
essentially.
1, Phase 2. That's still in effect. The lender's agreement is still in effect.
Right, right.
and you, before, so the section of road that you're working on now, this 2B or 3, whatever you want to call it, is there any paving down yet?
I'm just, no, I couldn't get it yet.
Okay.
Everybody's so busy. I'm meeting a paving company over there tomorrow that is probably willing to do it right away.
Okay.
I hear
Because
that
typically
they're
we-
very busy this year.
Typically, on lot releases, we like to see at least the binder course down. Jeff has that's a Form E, I think it's the
Yeah,
Form
that's
E,
what,
or Form
yeah,
H.
that's what his inspection is all about,
Yeah,
his estimate. Right. That's, once the binder coat is down, that's the amount for the work that's left.
right. That's the draft.
Mhm.
Yeah, that is the draft, but
Okay.
the amount is good. The reason you
Alright.
wrote draft on it is because it's not quite finished up to that point yet, but it will be within a week or so.
Okay, so I would say, get a copy of the letter to credit, or a sample of the letter to credit to Don, so he can forward it to town council and get
Mhm.
his opinion on that, also with the town treasurer. And then we would need to see a letter from consultant town engineer that you have the roadway up to the base coat, and then we would be ready to release, I would say after that, we would be ready to release lots. That's
Mhm.
typically when we release the lots.
Okay,
Once you get to that point.
very good. I believe that Mr. Johnson is going to be in touch with Mark from, the bank's attorney.
Mark, his last name begins with E. Ehrlich, I think?
Early?
Mark Ehrlich is the attorney.
Yep. Yeah. But I'll be in touch with all them anyway, so,
Okay,
all right, very good, thank you.
thank
All
you.
right, thank you. Okay, moving on. Application for a wireless tower special permit, 36 Hall Road, Celco Partnership, DBA Verizon Wireless, action, accept application and set hearing date. Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. I'm Carl Gearing on behalf of Verizon.
Welcome.
So I was here on May 10th for a pre-app meeting. I believe, Mr. Chairman, you were absent that night.
Right.
And then we asked, and it was agreed that the board would delegate the discussion of the balloon float to Mr. Johnson and Mr. Burlingame, which was done, and we conferred with Mr. Johnson and Mr. Burlingame and advertised for the balloon float last Friday. The balloon float will be Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, June 27, 28, 29, from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. The application was filed on the 7th of June. I don't know if you have the binders or if you've seen the binders they submitted.
They're all
Okay, they're all over there in that box, but I came tonight, I was discussing with Mr. Johnson, and he suggested I come to speak to you this evening. If I could respectfully request some flexibility with this board, that you meet on the 2nd and 4th Wednesdays. I have 2 other towns I'm working on behalf of Verizon that meet on the 2nd Wednesday. So I'm working on that with those 2, but I was hopeful if I could work with Dudley that I only be scheduled on the 4th Wednesdays in the short term until I've got this one application that's going concurrently with you, and then I've got another one in the wings that's also 2nd Wednesday. So my 2nd Wednesdays of the month are kind of locked up. So if it's acceptable to the board, I'd like to work with you on only coming on the 4th Wednesday.
Mhm.
And I filed on the 7th, so 65 days from then is August 11th, so we got plenty of time to open your first hearing anyway, but I just wanted to throw that out as something I respectfully request. I can't be in two places at once.
Yeah,
Without
so,
the hologram, but
yeah, it sounds like the timing will work out. We have, it's just a matter of when you want to be on our agenda. So as long as you work that out with the planner, it should not be an issue.
Yeah,
Okay.
we just don't want to get into a situation where the time's going to run out and then you're automatically granted your permit because it looks like we didn't act in time.
you have
Oh, no.
65 days is well
Right.
before that. You have
65 days
90
to open.
Right.
90 days after it's open, too, so.
90 days after the close of the last
Close,
hearing.
yeah,
Mhm.
close, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we got plenty of time.
All right. And if we need a letter from you granting us more time to make a decision, you would be, because it falls on a fourth Wednesday versus a second Wednesday,
Sure, yeah.
you'd be okay with that?
Yep.
All right.
Okay. I don't see any issue.
Okay, thank you. So then take a chance on the 27th, 28th, 29th, 7 to 7 to drive by the site, check out the visual,
Mhm.
hope for good weather.
I won't be in that day, but I will be in Worcester. I'm going to just drive by on my way home,
And
take a look at.
just a
below.
reminder, you said that the proposed tower height was 110 feet?
110, yep. And we'll try to get the balloon as close as possible to the center line of the proposed tower. Prior to having a permit, we don't want to go in and start clearing trees and all that. We've asked, the real estate guy is going to ask the landowner if it's possible to trim or even to fell one if necessary. But if we can't be dead on, but, we're like 20 feet away, whatever, we'll let you know when we come in to say that, it's going to be as close as we physically can get,
Okay.
if not right on, but, close by.
Okay.
It's July,
And Don, do we post that anywhere, that this balloon will be in flight those 3 days?
go to the newspaper.
Well, the bylaw requires that I run an ad, which I've done.
Okay.
And then as far as if you want to post internally, whatever, that's
What ad did you place? What,
Worcester Telegram.
the Worcester Telegram? Okay. And one more time, just for everybody, the dates that you said was June what?
27, 8, and 9.
27, 28, 29, from 7 to 7, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. And then the only other caveat on that is if it's windy and the thing pops and it's down for a half hour while he gets another one up, I mean, we're going to do the best we can in good faith to keep it up for that period of time. That was something I had mentioned at the pre-app meeting that, Mr. Chairman, you had missed, that it's real weather dependent, wind dependent, and it's kind of a difficult thing to keep it going, but we're going to do our best to keep it up for the whole time.
Okay.
Okay, the fourth Wednesday is July 30th. I'm sorry, that's July 26th, not August. July 26th.
Mm-hmm.
July 26th, yeah. So that would be well within the 65 days. It's the fourth Wednesday. That would be a good opening night if it's acceptable to you.
Mm-hmm.
You want to go ahead and shoot for that then?
Yeah, that works for me.
Yeah,
We-
I have no problem.
You guys?
Yep.
You need the time, 7:15, July 26th.
Yeah.
Just one question before you go. I'm sure you have this, but I have been approached by a couple of people asking about, with this being so close to a residential area, is there any effects for the residents that live there from, say, interference or any kind of health worries?
Absolutely not.
Would you be able to provide some of that information to the town planner so that he could
Yeah,
have it?
that's all in the applications.
All in the application, okay. I kind of figured it was, I just didn't know where
Copies
it
to go
was.
around, too. We got
Say that again?
about 10 copies of that. We got enough to go around if you like.
Okay.
And I'll have expert witnesses with me the night of the hearing to address any of those questions in detail.
Okay, so anybody that's interested could see the town planner and get a copy of that package of information from
Mhm.
you.
Yep.
Okay.
Very good.
All right. Thank you for
Anything
your
else?
time. I'll
No.
see you in July then.
Okay, great.
Night.
Good night.
Thank you. Okay. Item G, pre-application meeting with Phoenix Partnership for the purpose of discussing a new personal wireless service facility at 120 Schofield Ave.
I spoke to the landowner today. He didn't have all the details, and he was waiting for the engineer, and the engineer is a family and seeking the family issue, so we can't make it tonight.
Okay.
Maybe we'll do that in 2 weeks.
So what is the application for?
It's similar to this one,
Oh,
Another cell phone tower.
another new tower.
okay. And it's with a different group, I would imagine, different carrier.
It's not Verizon.
Well, I know he was Verizon, so that certainly would qualify as different. Okay,
Maybe they'll eventually locate it on it. Who knows?
so let's try to plan that one not for July 26th, huh?
Yeah.
All right,
They'll have to do the balloon test and all that
Yeah.
sort of thing too, so
all right.
probably in August, I think.
Okay.
Item H, discussion on finishing construction of and acceptance of uncompleted and unaccepted subdivision streets. That's kind of been ongoing.
We
Done
have
a good
someone
job
here,
at sharing
Mrs.
some.
Chinaki here tonight. She
Yeah.
would like to speak to the board about, okay,
Sorry, yeah, that's,
okay, all right.
is that us?
That's you.
That's us, thank you.
Sorry for the delay.
It's okay.
I think you said you were Mrs. Chinaki.
Ben?
Yes, thank you.
The waiver from 30 to 24. Maybe this is what I'm doing. Just a little in. We had this approved before, but we never picked up the
Okay, so,
I didn't get that. No, maybe it's in this one.
okay, so you want to give us a brief overview of what this is all about?
The road was approved for, you want this or? Pavement of the road was 50 feet, we just wanted to,
The pavement of the road was approved for 30 feet, and we
30
want
feet,
to
sorry.
request that it be revised to be a 24-foot road as opposed to 30. And apparently this has actually gone before the planning
before
board
the planning board,
before,
but we never picked up the paperwork, so
paperwork
we had to
kind
start
of-
all over again.
disappeared.
We had to get new-
And this is just for the section of Dorothy Circle.
Correct, yes.
And was this Dorothy Circle named something else before?
We have, that was named Bona Road, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah,
Yeah, and then was, yeah.
so it got renamed to Dorothy Circle.
Right,
Okay.
right, but when these were done, it was on Dorothy Circle, and there's 5 lots there.
There's no
plans are
construction,
done.
there's been no
There's-
construction on that, yeah, there's
Not yet.
no construction.
Remember?
Yeah, I remember approving it. I believe our current subdivision control, current subdivision regs state that the road width is supposed to be 24 feet.
24, 26.
Yeah,
Correct.
What?
and that was dictated by our highway superintendent because they
Right.
have snowplows with 12-foot widths. So they can plow the road in 2 passes versus go back for a third.
Now, sometimes there's ways to adjust it, but I was working in a town where they had having problems with subdivisions that had sewer and water because they couldn't get enough separation between the sewer that goes down the middle and the water that goes on one of the sides without going through the catch basins. So they have to tweak it vertically or something or other, but there's ways to do it, but, you know, it's generally 24 feet is more than adequate. That's what's generally recommended in subdivision regulations at this point, too. You may have a situation where you lining up doesn't work, but
This subdivision doesn't have sewer, right? It's just septics and wells?
Septic system,
Yeah.
Right.
so it
it's
wouldn't
just
be,
stormwater.
wouldn't be
So
an issue here, yeah.
Yeah, just stormwater.
There's a number of reasons for shrinking the pavement, plus you have less stormwater runoff to
Right.
mitigate, and it's easier to plow and more efficient in a lot of ways, and it's more than adequate for a single-family residential subdivision.
So it's a good thing.
So is the name of the street gonna stay Dorothy Circle?
No, we're gonna change it to Bona Road. Bona Road is Gregory and Teddy's mother, and when she was alive, we promised her the name was gonna be her road. And that's what happened. Joseph Street is named after their father. That's what it is. And that's why we requested it changed to Bona Road, 'cause it's a promise that we made to her when she was alive.
So is the change reflected in this drawing here?
Yes.
Yes, we
Okay.
have the
See the
paperwork
20
and everything.
24 feet right above the circle?
Yeah.
It's also here.
Oh, yeah. Okay. And when was the subdivision approved?
Oh,
My husband thinks
It was a while ago.
a while ago, yes.
And the covenant is still,
still active, yes.
have you looked into that, Don? The subdivision?
It's Rocky Hill Estates.
No, that's a separate, this would be separate from Rocky Hill. Well,
It is separate.
separate.
This is my daughter
It's
Eva.
not.
What's this,
I mean, I can look that up for you when it was approved, I'm not sure. It's not really parcel Rocky Hill.
Yeah, I'd like to, I just want to make sure that it's not, I'd like to know when it was approved and what the expiration of the subdivision is. Have you seen these plans, Don?
No, I haven't, but
would you like to see it? Plan says it's located on Rocky Hill Estates.
Okay, I mean, I guess it would have brought back way, so I may have just misspoke.
Yeah,
before
it
the
says
lots,
temporary cul-de-sac plan located on Rocky Hill.
Because it does connect in the back.
Right.
The back end of it will kind of touch upon Rocky Hill, so. And you know what, in the original subdivision plan, which I think was in the 80s,
Yeah, that's what you
that
guys.
property is
yeah,
here,
in
so
the
I'm
80s.
sorry, I was thinking of different
Yeah, because that's
property.
when we,
It was like 1986, I believe,
in the 80s.
when the actual plan was, and, you know, they've developed it since then.
So
This is just
all
adding
you're
it.
really asking for is a vote that says 24 feet.
20,
Yeah,
correct,
it's
that's all we're
okay.
asking for.
What, do you have the subdivision controls there, the rules there?
yeah.
Let me just
Well,
look it up.
I'd consider this an engineering change or field change. This isn't a modification of the layout, so. When do you envision constructing this portion of the street?
I'm sorry?
When do you envision construction of this portion of the street?
Probably this year.
Yeah, soon. This year, the end of the year.
There's never been a bond set for that road as far as I know. You should,
Right, we have to work it out.
Mr. Chairman, the current rules and regulations state that the minimum width of the street of the ways shall be laid out at 50 feet, which this is, I believe. It's 50 feet. Look across there.
Maybe 55.87.
The 50 foot is the taking, and then it says that the minimum width of pavement shall be 26 feet.
Mhm.
So they would be asking for a 2-foot waiver.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have any problem with that. So,
You don't have a problem with that?
Okay, so if you look at the cross-section, typical cross-section, it does show a 50-foot right-of-way, ROW, and there's a 24-foot pavement showing there, plus the berms. And the berms usually add almost a foot to either side of the road, so
Mhm.
if you went to the outside of the berms, it would be at 26 feet or pretty close to it. And they are showing a 5-foot sidewalk on one side.
And you just had this plan drawn up. Why didn't you change the name on the plan at that time?
Well, Mr. Hill said that we had to use Dorothy Circle on it.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, he said that we had to go to the original plan, that's why he did it.
Mm.
And
That's
that's
the
why
way it's
he had to
recorded.
redo the plans over.
Okay.
that's the way it's recorded, the board will have to agree to that too.
Well, there was a vote, I believe I voted on it to change
Did you?
it from Dorothy Circle to, was Bona Drive or Bona Circle?
Bona, B-O-N-A, because her name was Bonaventura.
I think I've seen that in the files, yes.
Bona.
Yeah.
Drive.
That vote's already happened.
Okay.
Would that be the same, they didn't pick up the vote for the waiver for the 24 feet? Would that be?
Yeah, we didn't vote on the 24 feet at the time. We just voted on the change of the name.
Change of the
Yeah, I do believe that was a while ago.
That was, yeah, and that's why,
I'm trying to remember.
And you haven't started building this section of the roadway yet,
No, they cleared it,
but your plan is to build it this year.
right, correct.
start this year or maybe next year.
We'll have to get a bond on that too, and similarly.
Right, either we get a bond or they don't ask for any lot releases until the road's done.
Mhm.
Well, yeah, build.
Yeah,
I don't know if they want to build the whole
step
thing
one.
this year, but they
Right.
build the base coat. Sometimes it's good to leave the base coat sitting over at least one winter. That everything flattens out. Everything settles.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I'd be willing to make a motion that we waive the pavement width from the current standard of 26 feet to 24 feet for the temporary cul-de-sac plan located on Rocky Hill Estates, Eagle Drive, owned by Deanna Chinaki.
Janina, yeah.
Did you say it?
Well,
Janina and Gregory and
Janina?
I
Choinaki,
don't know why
Hoynatsky,
that-
Choinaki, whatever.
Bonatsky, okay. And Gregory Bonatsky.
Okay. But this says, what, 30 to 24?
Right, because originally the plan was laid out at 30, but our current regs only state that it has to be 26.
Right, I just saying, in the motion, I think you said 26 to 24, right? So the original plan was showing it at,
Right, but we couldn't hold them to 30 feet if our current regs are only 26.
Mhm.
So we would be basically allowing them to go to 24 from 26.
okay, I see what you're saying, yeah. Okay, so we have a motion to waive the width from 26 to 24 for the lot.
Temporary cul-de-sac.
In question, temporary cul-de-sac of Rocky Hill Estates.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, we have a second. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you. Rick to sign anything? Rick to sign anything?
It's a previously approved subdivision. Yeah. All I'm doing is one minor modification.
This is a minor modification.
Minor
Anytime you change the layout, you have to have a hearing.
Right.
If you don't change the layout, you just do an engineering change like this is a field change or engineering change. It's just, I just file something with the town clerk and send a copy to the, that's about it.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on. Item I. John, do you want to give those to them, or do you want to keep them? Or you want to keep one?
I want to keep at least one. Actually, two, so I should file one with the town clerk to get everything right.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
You can have a couple back if you want.
There's only 3 there, Don, so.
All right, let me put it
Yeah.
together, then let me get one back. Thank you.
Okay. Discussion on economic development planning options. 2017 DLTA award for the first phase of a 3-phase economic development program. And joint planning board, Board of Selectmen, Economic Development Committee meeting on June 21st, 2017.
Started with CMRPC on Monday. Met and discussed the, what we're going to be doing about doing the inventory of economic development assets of the town. And we're going to be discussing that further and whatever else comes up with the meeting and what we want to do with the Economic Development Committee on Wednesday. They'll be there as well. So that's where we're at with that one. Also, not directly related to that, but I attended a function at CMRPC a week ago. Well, it was a week from tomorrow, previous to tomorrow, it was last week, Thursday. And we got an award for community planning.
For what? Community planning?
Yeah. And working well with CMRPC. I was done on Thursday night. I took the plaque in the house because I want to leave it in the car over the weekend and it's still in the house. But I'll bring it as soon as I can get, as soon as I can.
Okay.
Your wife's probably running around the house with it.
I told her, hey, where'd you put the plaque? She says, I don't remember seeing it, but I'll look for it. Just- yeah.
Go ahead, Don, that's your first award. You don't want to lose the first award.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So is Green Communities. The contract for the highway garage is underway. And we actually have $30,000 left, and the idle ride systems for the police cruisers won't be nearly that much, so we have a little extra money, and we can look at some Green Communities activities to fund energy saving, conservation measures, what have you. So Greg and I will be looking at that. Also another $5,000 to allow CMRPC again to administer that program, the paperwork, the reports, and stuff like that. So we're looking at. That's it.
All right. Sir, I'm sorry I didn't ask you earlier, but is there an agenda item that you were expecting, or are you just here to spectate?
I'm here for the 10 West Main Street Dunkin' Donuts.
Which business?
Okay.
Oh, it's coming up.
What's next?
Well, it's been fun.
Sorry, it's not usually this long.
Okay. So, discussion on remaining Green Communities funds, we don't need to necessarily.
That's what he just went over, the extra 30,000, the
Okay.
leftover remaining 30,000.
Right.
Is going to be evaluated and put a plan together for using the rest of the funds, right?
Okay.
And this joint planning board, Board of Selectmen meeting, that's next Wednesday?
Yeah.
From tonight, yes.
So do we all have to be at that one?
It's up to you.
We
can make
should
it.
be at that one?
Yeah.
If you want to meet the planning board of selectmen.
Yeah, oh, that's right, yeah.
Okay.
Meeting
Okay.
will be there, That's right.
All right. And, sorry, yeah, for the delay here. So, unfinished and old business, not a public hearing. Item K, minor site plan review application for New England Realty Ventures LLC, property located at 10 West Main Street, for a Dunkin' Donuts drive-through only facility. Action due July 18th, 2017. So sorry for the delay, sir. And I should have recognized you. I came up the stairs with you, and I know you've presented to us before, so.
Okay, shall I begin?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm Jack O'Leary with SciTech Environmental. I'm here on behalf of New England Realty Ventures. We have submitted a minor site plan review application for the property at 10 West Main Street. It's a proposed Dunkin' Donuts. We did the presentation at the last hearing, and the hearing, or I should say the meeting, and it was continued until you had comments from your engineer.
Mhm.
And we did receive comments today. Thank you, Don. And he had a few minor plan comments that we issued a revised sheet, which I have copies of with me. And I guess we think we've addressed the majority of the comments on the plan. I requested the board, if you have any further questions, otherwise we can hopefully wrap this up.
Okay. So you said that you received this information today,
Correct? Yeah.
okay? And you've already made modifications to the plans, or your plan already reflected what the engineer had requested?
The comments were on the plan were very minor. They were just things like he wanted a butters across the street shown on the plan. They weren't on the original submittal. Phone numbers for the applicant and owner, that sort of thing. So
Okay.
there was no substantial change to the plan. Certainly not the design. The design remains exactly as proposed. And he indicated, I don't want to speak for the engineer, but the letter indicated he was satisfied with the design, the stormwater management report, and that sort of thing. So,
Okay. All right, so yeah, item 1 was telephone numbers weren't provided on the plans for the owner of the applicant. Number 2, the street numbers weren't provided for the direct abutters. Owner's name and street numbers weren't provided for parcels across public way. Surveyed bearings and distances were not provided on sheet C1 and the sheet that bears a professional land surveyor's endorsement. The approximate location of structures within 20 feet of a site were not provided. Signs or sign locations for the business were not shown on the site plans. It is not uncommon for business-related signs to be proposed and reviewed separately from the site plan review process. Any yet-to-be-proposed signs must not obstruct drivers' sight lines. We understand that the planning board and/or building inspector will review any sign applications. Snow storage was not addressed on the site, but was addressed on the long-term pollution prevention and operation and maintenance plan dated January 2017. Graves Engineering has no issues with the proposed management of snow outlined in that plan. And it is critical that the drive-through's vehicle queue must not encroach into West Main Street sidewalk or into West Main Street traveled way, which we talked about last time you were here. The proposed project will accommodate 6 vehicles in queue between the ordering window and the West Main Street sidewalk. The planning board may wish to devise a way, perhaps an enforceable condition that is in its decision, to prohibit vehicle queue from encroaching upon West Main Street sidewalk or traveled way. And then hydrology, reviewed hydrology and found them to be in order. Stormwater, the stormwater standards seem reasonable, so, and no other general engineering issues. So yeah, I agree with you that it was somewhat uneventful. We did talk a little bit about the stack, the vehicle stack, I guess, or queue. And you had indicated from the drive-through back to the ordering window, it was three vehicles?
I believe it was 3 vehicles, yes.
And then from the ordering window to the sidewalk?
6 full-size vehicles, as the engineer states. Maybe if it was smaller cars, it might be a 7th car in that stack, but if it's a big SUV, it's going to be 6. If it's 6 of them.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, was there a public hearing held on this already?
It's a minor site plan, and I don't think the board determined it needed a public hearing. Well, it was before the ZBA and the Conservation Commission as well, but I don't think the board determined it needed a public hearing because it was a minor site plan.
Because I haven't seen anything yet, but it could have been done before I was back on the board. So do you have a copy of the plan in the office?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, look at it right here.
Okay.
As well. All the boards and
For Dippin' Donuts, we did a site plan review. Yeah. That was a major. That's why I'm asking why this is minor.
the size of the building.
How much
Yeah, this
parking?
is- Huh?
How much parking?
Yeah, this is just a drive-through.
There's no
There's no
parking
inside.
except for the employees.
So there's 7 parking spots.
8 with the handicap.
There's no on-site customer service other than pickup.
Right, there's no way for public to get inside the building, and there's no seating. It's just
Right.
too small.
Just like the one in Webster.
Are you still in agreement on minor, Guy, or no?
Yeah, 'cause I think it says, you have to have more than 10 spots, right? The construction or renovation of parking facilities involving 5 but fewer than 10
Is minor.
is minor.
Yeah, and Graves didn't comment on it either, I think
So you have a copy there of the zoning board's decision. You also have a copy of the Conservation Commission's decision.
Yep.
I spoke to all the other boards, departments, and were listed in that section of the zoning bylaws, and nobody had any particular comments except the water department, and they just wanted to be sure that they use the existing connection. I think you talked about that with them as well, right?
Yes.
You know, the water department, that you don't do any groundwater infiltration, because you don't want to move that, any contaminants that might be there.
Correct, yes. Yes.
So that's basically what they said.
And so there's no drainage on the site?
I've spoken to everybody except
No.
the police chief. I didn't have a chance to speak to him because he's,
That was gonna be my next question, 'cause I know with the current business that we have just down the street, that the drive-through is the problem. I mean, on busy days, you go by and the cars are out in the street, sometimes 2 or 3 cars. People are trying to, if people are on the sidewalk,
Yeah.
they're trying to cross.
I think the stack queue is different there, though.
I think the stack queue is further back and
Yeah.
down the side of the building than it is over here. I think this one's further into the site, into the
Yeah.
building.
That business has a pretty short distance between the ordering window and the pickup
Yeah.
window,
So
which,
the ordering window is over here at that business, and so the stack starts here, whereas this one here, the ordering window.
it's on the
Yeah,
back side of
the
the
ordering
building.
window's here and the pickup window's here.
So,
By having a greater length, it gives the employees more time to complete the order, so when someone orders, by the time they get to the pickup window, it's ready to go.
Yeah.
When it's a shorter distance, sometimes it tends to slow down the flow.
Yeah, The design of this building is that it goes around 3/4 of the building, whereas the other one that we're referring to goes around only half of it.
Yeah.
Pickup window is at the exact halfway point. So it starts at this corner and goes up to here, whereas this one encompasses the, I don't know distances, but you certainly get some additional vehicles on the wrap.
It's also possible or even likely that by adding this business to this stretch of road, it'll better meet the demand for the drive-up window, and the other business will have less of a queue and less likely to have it stack into the road.
So they order at K and they pick it up at R, from what I'm seeing on the map, right?
That's I believe that's correct. Yeah, I can point it out on the plan if that helps.
Yep.
They're ordering right there.
Yep.
Picking up over here.
Okay, so,
That distance there gives the employees time to complete the order so they pick up and they're gone.
And that queue is about three vehicles.
We have one car ordering.
Yeah,
Move the 1, 2, 3 cars here, and then
Yeah. okay.
fourth car would be picking up, so.
okay, so I think that'll be a better situation than what we currently have.
Mhm.
The rear of the project where it abuts the 20-foot wide sewer easement, that's gonna be pavement right up to that, all the way around, or is there some grass there, or?
There's currently there's paving right across that property line, and that's going to be maintained.
Okay,
And my understanding is both property owners have discussed this, and that's acceptable, and it does help with snow plowing and that sort of thing too.
and then, towards the left on Ardlock Place, the corner of Ardlock and West Main Street, are those gonna be grassy areas there, or is it just gonna be like mulch and bushes, or what?
Well, there is a landscape design in the set, and this is new landscaping here at that part of the corner.
Yeah,
And there's a strip of new landscaping here.
Yep.
And that's going to be landscaping as well, and there's an existing large maple there that we think we can keep.
okay.
It's a big mature tree.
And then the little semicircle between the entrance and exit, is that landscaped?
That's landscaping as well. There's also some landscaping around the building
Okay.
here, and there's also a landscape strip, a new one, along this property line, along the front of the top of that retaining wall that Mass Electric built in the adjacent lot.
Okay, and all the new landscaping will be raised up from the parking lots? There'll be berms?
It will be bermed, yes.
Okay, great. That was a major problem with the last project.
Okay. I didn't know there was another way to do it.
Still is.
Yeah, well,
How do you hold the mulch in without a berm?
go look at the previous project. We don't know how it got through, but it's like that.
Real close to the ground.
Yeah. Okay. That would be my questions.
I think you covered everything.
I mean, I'm sure you've got a lighting plan that our consultant town engineer looked at to make sure that all your lighting was downward and not off into the neighbors' yards and,
Yes, there is proposed pole-mounted lighting, and they're all cut-off type fixtures that shed the light on the
shine
paving.
down. Yep, so there won't affect,
LED type fixtures.
no effect on traffic passing by and
No.
no glare. Okay.
No.
And you have a handicap spot.
Fenced-in dumpster.
Yes, we have a proposed dumpster enclosure on a concrete pad here, fenced in.
Did you provide a spot, like if somebody has an order that isn't ready, that they can pull up and wait while the other cars can still exit?
Good, really good question. That is actually becoming more frequent on these site plans. We don't have room in the site to really do that, but if designate a special spot, but we have excess parking, so these 3 spaces, I wouldn't be surprised if people do that occasionally.
Okay, so
The employee at the order window may tell somebody, hey, pull over here and wait for a few minutes, we'll bring out your order. We do waiting spaces on these facilities more and more, and
okay,
they do help.
so you have a spot that could be used if it necessary.
Yeah,
All it would need is signage.
right, yeah, if they wanted to put a specific sign up, they could.
Okay.
But, in the old days, people just used the parking spaces like that anyways, and it's becoming a little more formal sometimes now.
Okay.
Anyone else? Questions?
Nope.
I'm all set. Yep.
Well, like I said, I've heard from every entity that it was listed in the section, well, who gets to review the copies?
Mhm.
What was that?
Who gets to review copies of the site plan, the commissions and boards and departments and what have you. The only one I haven't heard from is the police chief. Everybody else
So-
was satisfied with it, and
Are we to vote on this tonight?
you could, it's up to you.
Yeah, it was pushed off because we wanted Graves to have a
Mhm.
look at it and make their comments, and obviously they did, and we just got this back. So the timing, I think, works pretty well. And I think you were on the board, but I think you just were not here.
I only missed the 24th.
It was just a couple weeks ago, wasn't it?
Was
We
it
did
the
this?
the meeting on the
Yeah.
24th?
It was the
Yeah.
I
24th.
believe so.
Okay, so
was the
that
one,
was the
yeah.
meeting I missed. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, yeah. That was my son's
No
birthday.
call, no nothing. We were all crying.
I talked to Masha.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
All right. They didn't know anything about it.
You weren't at the town meeting.
All right, all right, all right.
Okay. So, looking for a motion
Yes, so I'm entertaining a motion.
then? Okay, Mr. Chairman, I would like to make a motion that we approve the minor site plan review for New England Realty Ventures LLC, 218 Main Street, Webster, Massachusetts, for the property address of 10 West Main Street, Dudley, Massachusetts, Assessor's Map 117, Lot 123, to be used to construct a new it's Dunkin' Donuts, I believe. Dunkin' Donuts drive-through facility.
Okay. We have a motion to approve the plan.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for the approval of New England Realty Ventures site plan. All those,
Would that be subject to the conditions specified by Graves Engineering?
yeah, I mean,
He's
again, I didn't see anything.
Every one in a letter that responds to his, right?
Yeah.
That's what I just read.
Subject to those being fulfilled on the plan. That's about it.
Hmm?
Subject to those being fulfilled on the plan.
Yeah.
That's it.
So do you want to make it, I mean, the letter's here, I'm not sure that it needs to be mentioned in the motion, Don?
No, just be sure that before you sign the plan that they're shown on the plan, that's all.
Okay.
That's,
So these new plans that I just opened up and took the two small sheets out of, that's not an up-to-date plan?
doesn't include the
The comments?
comments from Graves Engineering, no.
So, I'm sorry, sir, would you be updating the plans to reflect what you have in your letter here?
Yes, we did so. There's 2 sheets that needed updating, and I provided those sheets separately tonight. With
Oh, so
those
you already have
updates.
them here?
Yep.
Okay,
So we can substitute those into those sets whenever convenient. And
okay. then that's, I think it's fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
So we have a motion and a second to approve the New England Realty Ventures site plan. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Unanimous? So, Don, you have a plan, so Mr. O'Leary, he has a plan, a full-size plan with the updates on it here?
He does, yes. Are you looking to actually to sign them tonight at the?
We just voted on it. We can
Okay.
sign them.
What I can do is you give me a few minutes, I can take out the outdated sheets from these sets, put the new sheets in, and you'll have
That'd be great.
completely
fine.
Save you some
set.
time and us as well. Okay. While we're doing that, I guess the planner can talk about his plate.
This plate is pretty much for what you've seen
Plate-
here.
His
It took-
plate runneth over.
Took a lot of research time on looking at our plan, believe it or not. There's what that road was
Yeah.
built. As far as I can see, it was probably there when subdivision control was established, so anyway, we didn't put all that. Took a lot of my time and had that meeting with the economic development, with the school board with from CRBC. We'll be going on that next week with the EDC. Going to the Mass Association of Planning Directors annual conference tomorrow and Friday. I'll be in
Could be
Where?
Pittsfield.
Oh, that's a drive.
I think
Not-
that's very early tomorrow morning.
They're not holding it in Hawaii anymore.
No. No, not the mass planners. They have held it in, like Hyannis, though.
Pittsfield is just like Hawaii.
It's better.
It's better.
They still have General Electric over there.
I don't know. All right.
And I'm gonna be taking, I found out I get vacation time that I have to take before the end of
What?
the year, so,
Oh, a long time before the end of the year, Don.
yeah.
And just think, the
Basically,
nice cold weather's coming soon.
No, it's June 30th it's the fiscal year, right?
Fiscal year,
Yeah. Oh, I see.
June 30th.
yeah. So, I won't be here on the 27th and probably take some time next week. I'm not sure how I'm gonna do that, but we'll get all these things filed on Tuesday.
In the past, Dawn, just so you know, we have allowed planners to carry it over. You won't, I know sometimes they say you lose it, but,
They say if you don't use it, you lose it, but if I can carry it over, I will, but
yeah, I mean, talk to the town administrator. Because
Yeah.
I think that happened before where we got busy with, I mean, right now we've got 2 cell phone applications and a minor
Yeah.
site plan review for a drive-through and quite a bit going on, so I think he would understand if you had to postpone it till after. So, it's happened in the past,
okay.
FYI.
Well, I will be in Tuesday, the 27th, but like I said, I've got an appointment in Worcester anyway, so
Hey, whatever works for you.
you can just stop on the Willing Line and see the balloon.
Yeah. Okay. What else? Anything else?
I think that's about it. I think we've been through everything else.
All right, good. Any comments from the planning board? No? No? No more comments from the audience, so we'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Okay, motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Good night. Thanks, Fred.